Let's go to this one. I'm going to turn the effects off. So this is basically the SY using 2 AFM elements to give you as many detuned sawtooth waves as you can get. And again, applying a couple of phase tricks to get it to be what I like to call supermassive. And that's dry. I actually have the depth of the reverb and stuff on the slider, so. All right, so let's break this down. Now, some of the stuff in here I'm going to have to really muck up a bit to hear what's going on. But let's talk about what's common again to the approach. First of all, we have two elements that are essentially identical, panned left and right, with some slight detunes. Obviously, this is a analog type of thing, so we're going to come on, sorry. A lot of random pitch depth on this. So let's actually look at the patch. So very simple algorithm. It's a classic 3 stacks of 2 operators. And I've got it set up so each of our carrier operators, 1, 3, and 5, are feedbacking on themselves. Okay. In addition, they're feedbacking to the operator that's above them. So 1's going into 2, 3's going into 4, and 5's also going into 6. I have a couple cross mods in here that I don't remember if I'm using or not, but we'll find out. So what are we doing here? So this is just basically a self-FM patch. So if we go ahead and look at our various operators, we have 1 with a sine wave for numbers 1, 3, and 5. Now, you'll see that a couple of things are going on here. First of all the phases are turned off. They're all detuned for a wide amount, 7, 0, and 7. And we have one tiny bit of phase offset here. So essentially, this is going to be a 3 sawtooth patch, because you'll see that our feedbacks for each operation themselves are 7 for 1, 3, and 5. So this is just op 1 by itself. Here, let's de-stereoize that for a second. Sorry. Let's go back here, and now we can kill that. All right, so this is just op 1. Sawtooth wave, op 3. Another sawtooth wave, and op 6. This is just all self-FM. So they're all detuned, so you can guess what this is going to sound like. So that's just basic detuning. So the beating is going to be consistent across every note I play, because the relationships of the pitch are static between the 3 of them. Now, each note that's played will be different to another note, but the random pitch does not affect operators individually. It affects the note as it's played as a whole. So how do you want to analog this up a little bit to give you something that's thicker and less reproducible? And the answer to that is each one of these guys is going to be modulated by a slow fixed frequency operator. So op 2, op 4, and op6 are all set to various values here, and some different waveforms. Again, all their phases, I think, are all turned off, are they? Yep, except that guy. And what this is doing, this is introducing phase/pitch shifting in each of these operators that's different than all the other operators in this AFM element. So it's going to randomize the pitch and phase every note because, of course, the phase sync is off. So let's show you how this is going to play out here. So this is just 1 and 2. Now, you saw that was a very low value for this. We've only got a third of a hertz. I'm going to go here, and we're going to extreme this out. So that's what op2 is doing, but we're going to use a subtle amount of it. Let's go to the 3/4 pair. Okay, and you're going to see that I've got 4 hertz. This is more like an LFO vibrato thing. Again, a subtle amount. Let's go to over here and show you how extreme it actually is. So that's the motion we're putting into operator 3. We're just putting a very little bit of it. And now we go to the 5/6 pair, and let's pull this up. Oops, not that way. Thank you. And you'll see that op6 again is a slow, and we're using this non-sinusoidal wave to have a different pattern to it. So it's kind of more glitchy. And again, we have it set up so it's a much subtle effect. So now when you put all these together, so that puts a lot more inconsistencies of the pitch and phase on every time you play a note because everything is sliding against itself quite a bit. So let's go back to our panning, turn our guys back on here, and let's go back, put the other element in. And again, you're going to see I did my typical trick where the sub LFO, I'm doing different speeds and depths. One has none at all, the other one's got a fast vibrato. And now together you get the... You probably notice there's some stereo motion going on in there, and that's because all of the fixed operators, I have actually different frequencies on each side of the elements. So each of the pitches are shifting differently. And because those phase relationships are changing constantly, you're going to hear different notes seem to have different places in the stereo field. And that's kind of a cool thing. It's not controllable like you can do like on the third wave or like the Oberheims, but again, it makes some nifty stuff. Now, of course, if you wanted to, you could take this and filter it up using the filters. And we'll save that for another time. Anyway, hope you found that interesting, but that's some of my favorite tricks to do for binaural / stereo patches on the SY series.